Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back. My name is Alex and today we're going to be talking about everything that we know so far about Gotham Knights. Now the game is still a couple weeks away, so some of these things can change before the actual full release, but more than likely everything that we know now is going to be in the game at launch, so some of these things might change after, with some patches and stuff like that, but for the most part, this is everything that we know so far. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Now we got a list here about 15 items long, and they're not in a particular order. They're just 15 things that I think are important, especially if you're buying the game on console because the price is a little bit higher. And with that being said, first thing on the list is going to be the actual release date. Now this is going to be releasing on October 20th for consoles and October 21st for PC, the Epic Game Store and Steam. Now I don't know if that's just a glitch in the system and the PC launchers haven't updated to the 20th. So as things stand right now, if you want to play the game a day early, I guess, get it on console. But with that being said, be warned, the console version is $10 more expensive than the PC version. So on console, you're going to be paying $69.99 and on PC, you're going to be paying $59.99. So take that in account. And if you know exactly why the price difference is like that, let me know in the comments below because I have no idea. But next up on the list is going to be that this game is going to feature 4 different playable characters at launch. You're going to have Nightwing, you're going to have Red Hood, you're going to have Robin, and Batgirl. Now all of these characters have been trained by Batman, but they all have their own unique different playing styles. So if you don't quite know which character fits your playing style, here's a quick rundown of what they do. Nightwing is the most agile of the group. He floats around the battlefield, he's really fast, he kind of like flips and does all these crazy maneuvers. And he also plays the support role in the team. He has abilities that can buff his teammates. We don't know how far that goes, whether it's just buffing damage, whether it buffs damage mitigation, so we'll find out when the game actually launches, but as of right now, Nightwing seems to be more of the supportive character. Next up we have Robin, who is the techie of the group. He has a lot of tech abilities. He's also the most stealthy apparently, while having access to an actual teleport ability, which is crazy. And apparently he is the best at inflicting elemental damage, which is a system we don't know a whole lot about yet, and that's definitely something that we're going to dive into in the channel when the actual game drops. Now next up we got Batgirl, who is the expert in 1v1 combat, and she also apparently has the most survivability, and I'm kind of getting like the tanky vibes from Batgirl, which would be a pretty cool twist on the game. You would think Red Hood, he's the biggest, he would be like the tankiest, but in my guess he's probably going to have like the most DPS, so we'll see how that plays out. And Batgirl, she also has the ability to pull off hacks, which is another system we don't know a whole lot about, but again, that's something else we're definitely going to explore when the game actually releases. And then last but not least, we got Red Hood, who is going to be the best character in the game, hands down. I don't care what nobody says, you can't argue with me. He's the coolest looking character. He's got the pistols, he's got magic, he can jump on the air. He's the best character in the game. But in all seriousness, he seems like a super cool character. Apparently he has the best grab in the game. I don't know exactly what that means, but maybe that means he can grab larger targets. And he also seems to be the only character that can attack from range. But his main focus seems to be DPS and crowd control. So Red Hood is going to be your main character. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because this is going to be my main, and all my initial builds and everything, my breakdown is going to be on this guy first. And while we're on the topic of making builds, each character is going to have 3 skill trees plus 1 extra tree called the Knighthood tree, which gives them, like their unique passives and stuff like that. So we will be able to build these characters out in different ways, and there's also bonuses towards like gear and stuff like that. So there will be multiple ways to actually build out your characters. We don't know how deep that system goes as of right now because of course nobody has got their hands on the game, but I am optimistic. I do have some hope that there will be some actual legit build crafting in the game. And also the fact that there's actual crafting in the game gives me hope, and I really hope that they make the crafting worthwhile and a legit way to actually build up your characters. Especially with this game being a legit action RPG, and it seems to be leaning heavy into the RPG aspects with the whole gear system. We have blue gear, we have green gear, purple gear, and I also believe we have legendary gear. So we don't quite know if we have like set bonuses and stuff like that, but I can't wait to find out. And the fact that they actually seem like they play actual RPGs gives me a lot of hope. And the fact that they have crafting, gear systems, like all of that stuff, I am all about it. Although I'm not completely sold on the actual combat of the game, it kind of gives me the Assassin's Creed vibe a little bit. Like the Odyssey, like the Origins, the whole kind of floaty, dodgy type thing. But I haven't played it yet. I haven't got my hands on it, so I won't judge it yet. But fingers crossed that it's good. And in all reality, at the end of the day, we will get used to it, even though it's a little bit different. And I'm not worried about it. And with that being said, let's move on to the next topic, and that's going to be that this game will not be supported on the old consoles. So if you have a PS4 or an Xbox One, you're going to have to upgrade your consoles or get the game on PC because there will be no old gen support. And the reason for this is because I guess the game was a little bit too much for those systems to handle. So in the grand scheme of things, it was probably better for the actual health of the game and the actual community. So it kind of sucks, but I get it. And next on the list is that this game is no way, shape, or form related to the ARKHAM games. And I know that was a disappointment for some people because they saw the combat, they saw the story, they thought it was related, but it's not. It's not the same Batman, it's not the same universe, it's not the same story. So all in all, I do believe this is for the best. They got a completely blank slate. They can, write whatever story they want to. They don't have to, go back on old history, old lore. They got a blank page to work with. And yeah, can't wait to see what they do with the actual story. And speaking of the actual story and the universe, next on the list is that Batman is dead. Now, I don't know if they're going to actually show us his death in game. I don't know if they're going to actually show us a body because, if you don't see a body, nobody's going to believe it, especially if the death is like super off screen, super unbelievable. And also Commissioner Gordon is dead. So I completely believe that they're going to flesh out these stories and, give us some backstory to what actually happened, because I'm actually pretty interested if they're actually going to keep Batman and Commissioner Gordon actually dead. But something in the back of my mind tells me that they're just going to save him for like a DLC down the line or something like that, which would be an easy slam dunk, by the way. And this also has me intrigued because the main villains of the story is actually going to be the Court of Owls. Now, there will be other villains in the story, but this is going to be like the main end game right here. It's going to be trying to stop the Court of Owls. And if you haven't actually heard of these guys, they pretty much run Gotham City from the shadows. They've been around since the actual start of Gotham City. And I do believe they're one of the founding families, along with like, the Waynes and stuff like that. So these guys have been around for a long time. They pull all the strings. Nothing happens without them knowing. And we also don't know if they have anything to do with Batman's death, or quote unquote death. So we shall see when the game actually comes out, see how the story unfolds. And yeah, can't wait to see this one. Now, when you're actually going through the story, you can do the entire thing solo, or you can do the entire thing in co-op. And in Gotham Knights, they support 4-player co-op. So that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. Even though I usually play by myself, having the option to join up to 3 other people to, do some side missions, fight some bosses, just cruise around the city, have fun. I think that's pretty dope. So fingers crossed that the actual online is stable and not super laggy on launch, and that actually flows into the next topic perfectly, and that is that there will be no crossplay between the systems. So Xbox, PC, PlayStation, they're all going to be separated into their own, ecosystems. And I don't know if they're going to address this post-launch. I don't know if they're going to patch this in. I don't know if there's just like some really bad difficulties, but hopefully this is something they could add in, post-launch. But if not, it is what it is. Kind of sucks, but what can you do about it? Now, next on the list is a pretty big positive, and that's that the game will not have any microtransactions. Now, this could change post-launch, who knows? But as of right now, the only things you can buy in the game is you can upgrade your normal edition to the deluxe edition if you choose to. Other than that, you can't spend any money on the game, so it's a one and done buy. You get the game, you get the complete experience. You don't have to do any more shenanigans in order to play it. It also goes hand in hand with our next point, and that is that you do not require an online or Xbox Live / PlayStation Plus account to play the game. So you can play it completely offline. You don't need the internet. This is truly a, buy it, play it type deal. Now, if you want to play it online with friends and co-op, then yes, you're going to need, your Xbox Live and your internet connection. But I feel like that goes without saying if you want to, use those options. And games who still operate like this, I feel don't get enough credit still, because a lot of games require you to be online to even play like single player portions of games. So a round of applause and hats off to these guys for, implementing this system instead of, something a little bit more predatory. And with that being said, we are in the final stretch. The last 2 things I got on my list. These are pretty cool. They're not super game making or game breaking. And the first point is that you can swap characters at any time you want to. So if you get, halfway through the story and you decide you want to try another character, that character will also be leveled alongside of your character that you have been using. So we're not entirely sure if it's a 1-to-1 level or it's a little bit less, but you will be able to try new characters, so you won't be locked to just, using one character the entire campaign. I think this is a great idea because, the worst thing is getting halfway through a story and deciding that you don't like a character and you want to swap, but then you got to start all over from scratch. And this point goes hand in hand with the last point, and that is that you're going to want to actually go through the story multiple times on different characters. And the reason for that is because the dialogue is going to actually be different depending on who you're playing. Now, I'm pretty sure all the major events are still going to be the same, but as far as like certain banter with certain characters, certain responses to conversations, the story's going to be completely different depending on who you're playing with. Although maybe completely different is a little bit too strong, I would say you'll be able to see different perspectives. I think that's super cool. I appreciate these guys, going hard, getting some really good voice actors to, act these things out. I love that. And if you guys are going to be picking this game up, make sure you, subscribe to the channel, because I will be doing some build videos, stuff like that. Like my usual bread and butter. I love making builds. And I try to stay away from, like the obvious cookie cutter stuff. We're trying to make some unique builds and everything like that. So if that sounds interesting, make sure you subscribe to that channel. And that's all I got for you guys today, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that shenanigans down below. My name is Alex. I shall catch you next time. Peace.